What are you doing? Where's Annabeth?
I'm fucking trying to help you. Move me.
Stupid fucking Viking. Get in.
Run along, sweetie. Things are about to get ugly.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Gen V Season 2 Episode 7 is about to shake everything up. Why Episode 7 feels like a storm waiting to hit. We've got Murray realizing just how far her powers can go. Kate's loyalty hanging by a thread, Cypher playing both sides like a professional manipulator, and Stan Edgar moving like he's already seen the endgame after what we saw in Episode 6. One thing's clear, Murray is stepping into a whole new version of herself. That calm, unsure student who used to question every move is gone. What's left now is someone who knows she's different, knows she's dangerous, and knows that her name carries the same kind of weight as Homelander's. But that realization isn't all power and pride. It's fear too. The kind of fear that eats you up when you start realizing you might be becoming the very thing you've been trying to fight. That's where Marie's head seems to be right now. She's scared of what she's capable of. And that's what's making her unpredictable. See, when Marie walked away from Stan Edgar's bunker, it wasn't just a physical move. It was her drawing a line between who she was and who she's becoming. But here's the thing, Stan doesn't let people walk away from him unless it's part of his plan. And if there's one thing Stan knows how to do better than anyone, it's turning people into tools for his agenda. That's why I think he's not done with Marie. If anything, he's testing her, watching how far she'll go before she breaks. Because let's be real, Stan never puts all his cards on the table. He's probably already planning how to use Marie's abilities to reshape the balance of power between Vought, Godolkin, and whatever's left of Project Odessa. Now when it comes to Kate, she's sitting in a dangerous place, mentally fractured, emotionally detached, and surrounded by people who either want to control her or fix her. But here's the twist, I think Kate doesn't want to be fixed. Every moment she looks at herself, every second she feels how broken her powers have become. She's reminded that she's lost control. That's dangerous because people who've lost control tend to reach for whatever gives it back. And that's where Cypher comes in. He's playing the long game with her, acting like he's the one person who understands her when really, he's just baiting her, making her believe that the only way she can truly be herself again is by standing against Marie. I wouldn't be surprised if Cypher ends up convincing Kate to do something she'll regret, something that'll split the group for good, and that's what makes this upcoming episode so interesting. The team's unity is falling apart, and Cypher knows exactly how to make it crumble faster. He's been the quiet storm since he showed up, smiling, manipulating, calculating. But the most chilling part? He doesn't have V in his system. He's human, yet he's managing to pull the strings of people who could level cities. That tells you everything you need to know about his mind. I think Cypher is connected to Thomas Godolkin on a level that we haven't even begun to understand. What if Godolkin isn't just influencing Cypher through science or tech, but through something deeper like mental conditioning, or shared consciousness from his experiments? It sounds wild, but think about it. Cypher's behavior doesn't match a man in control. It matches someone following programming he doesn't even know he has. Meanwhile, Annabeth's visions are still the biggest mystery. That look she gave Kate in the last episode wasn't just concern, it was fear. Fear of something she's already seen coming. I think her visions are trying to warn her that Kate's going to betray Marie. And when that betrayal happens, it's going to be massive. We've seen how Marie and Kate's bond has been tested before. But this time it won't just be about trust, it'll be about survival. If Kate does go against Marie, that's not just a friendship ending. That's two of the strongest young soups going head to head, each one fighting for a version of the truth they believe in. And Annabeth might be caught right in the middle of it. As for the rest of the students at Godolkin, tensions rising fast. Whispers about the culling, Cypher's plans, and who might get cut next are spreading across campus. Everyone's scared, but also angry. It feels like we're heading toward a full-blown rebellion. One that might not even stop at the school gates. Because let's be honest, these students have been lied to for too long. They're finally realizing that the people training them to be heroes are the same ones deciding which of them deserve to live. And when that truth fully hits in Episode 7, chaos won't just break out, it'll explode. What's scary though is how quiet Stan Edgar has been. Every time he goes silent, it means something big is coming. Maybe he's waiting for Cypher and Godolkin to make their next move. Or maybe he's already 2 steps ahead, letting them fight it out while he prepares to swoop in and clean up the mess. Either way, this next episode feels like the calm before a war, one that's about to change the balance of power between Supes and humans forever. If there's one thing we've learned from Gen V so far, it's that every time you think you understand what's going on, the show flips it upside down. Episode 7 is lining up to be that exact kind of twist. And at the center of all this chaos is Murray, the girl who went from a forgotten name at Godolkin to the most talked about Supe on campus. The way she's unlocking her powers, it's no longer just about blood control or healing. It's starting to look like she's tapping into something that even Vought didn't predict. Something that feels limitless. She's already brought people back to life, she's felt the compound V inside others, and she's learned to bend it. But now, the question is, what happens when she learns how to take it away? That's where the real fear begins. Because if Murray figures out how to strip V out of someone's system, she doesn't just become powerful, she becomes dangerous. Imagine someone who can walk up to Homelander and turn him into a regular human. That's power that shouldn't exist. That's power Vought would kill for. And that's why Stan Edgar's interest in her feels so calculated. He's not just watching her, he's waiting for her to reach her limit. The moment she shows him that she can neutralize a Supe, he'll know exactly how to use her. He doesn't need to control her with threats or fear. He'll do it with truth. Because the one thing Murray's still searching for is answers about her parents, about Project Odessa, and about what she really is. And Stan Edgar always has answers, but never without a price. Meanwhile, Kate's inner storm is growing darker. We've seen glimpses of it, the self-doubt, the guilt, the anger. She's been broken down so many times that she barely recognizes herself anymore. And with Cypher whispering in her ear, convincing her that Murray's holding her back, it's only a matter of time before she breaks completely. Cypher doesn't need to fight her, he just needs to plant the right thought. That Murray's become the new face of Godolkin. That Murray's the one they'll all follow. That maybe, deep down, Murray doesn't even need Kate anymore. It's manipulation at its purest form. And Kate's exactly the kind of person who'll believe it because she's desperate to feel like she still matters. I can see episode 7 pushing her to that point where she finally turns, not because she wants to, but because she thinks she has to. Cypher's control over people without ever showing a single drop of V in his veins is what makes him terrifying. He's like a ghost in the system, someone who knows how every piece fits together and how to make it collapse. He doesn't use strength, he uses knowledge. Every word, every move, every decision is pre-planned. It's like he's always one conversation ahead of everyone else. But I think there's something more to him that we haven't seen yet. What if Cypher isn't working for anyone, not Godolkin, not Stan, but for himself? A man who's studied Supes for so long, maybe he's not trying to destroy them. Maybe he's trying to become one. That could explain his obsession with Murray and why he's so focused on her powers. He's not afraid of what she can do, he wants it, and while all of that's happening, Annabeth might be the only one who still sees the big picture. Her visions haven't been wrong yet, and that's what makes her so important. If she's already seen the betrayal, the chaos, or maybe even the deaths that are coming, she could be the one who tries to stop it. But that's the thing about visions, they don't show you how to change what's coming. They just show you that it's coming. So even if she knows what Kate's about to do, stopping her might not be possible. Especially if Cypher finds out about her ability. He's the kind of person who'd see her as a threat. Someone who could expose his next move before it happens. And if he gets to her first, we might lose one of the only people who actually understands what's going on. Then there's the chaos building on campus. Students are restless. The word's spreading fast about the 75% culling, about who gets to stay and who gets wiped out. Nobody's trusting anyone anymore. Allies are turning on each other. People who used to train together are now keeping secrets, looking over their shoulders. Episode 7 feels like it's setting up that one final spark. The one that turns fear into full-blown rebellion. And if that happens, the fallout won't stop with the students. Vought's going to have a problem they can't contain because this isn't just a group of angry kids. It's a group of weaponized Supes who finally realize they've been lied to their whole lives. It's crazy to think about, but all the storylines seem to be heading toward one point. Chaos at Godolkin. Cypher's manipulation, Kate's instability, Murray's awakening, Annabeth's visions. Stan's silence, all of it's leading to something massive. Something that might not even end at the school. We're talking about the next generation of Supes realizing that they don't need Vought. They don't need Godolkin. And they definitely don't need anyone telling them what they can or can't be. And that's a problem that no one, not even Stan Edgar, can control once it starts. But here's the wildest theory floating around right now. What if Godolkin himself isn't just alive, but aware of everything happening? What if he's been orchestrating it all from the shadows through Cypher? It would make sense. Cypher's confidence, his knowledge, his access, none of it adds up for someone supposedly human. Maybe Godolkin's consciousness is living through him. Maybe the reason Cypher acts so cold and emotionless is because he's not fully himself anymore. If that's true, episode 7 might reveal the biggest twist of the season. That Cypher isn't the puppet master. He's the puppet, and once that truth comes out, everything changes. Because if Godolkin's back, even in a partial form, that means Project Odessa never ended. It means the experiments are still going on, the soups are still being watched. And all of this chaos is just part of a larger test. A test to see which of them will survive and which of them will become something more. Now let's talk about what might be the real turning point in episode 7. The truth about Project Odessa. We've been hearing this name thrown around since the start of the season, but the pieces are finally starting to fit together. It's becoming more and more obvious that Project Odessa was never shut down. It just changed shape. It moved underground, hidden behind new names, new faces, and new experiments. And if you really pay attention, all the signs point back to Godolkin himself. He's not just a memory or a legacy, he's still calling the shots, one way or another. Whether it's through Cypher, through the systems at the university, or through the very DNA of the students who walk those halls, his influence is everywhere. The scariest part is that none of them even realize they're still part of his experiment. The way Cypher moves through Godolkin University. It's like he knows everything, who's next to be cut, who's breaking down, who's getting stronger. He doesn't need files or reports. He just knows. That's what makes this theory so believable, that Godolkin's mind lives on inside him. Maybe it's a neural implant, maybe it's something transferred during one of those failed tests. Or maybe Cypher's not even fully human anymore. Whatever it is, it's clear that Cypher's agenda matches exactly what Godolkin stood for. A world where only the strongest soups survive. He's carrying on that vision, but in a much colder, much more efficient way. And episode 7 might finally pull back that curtain if this turns out to be true. It changes everything we thought we knew about Stan Edgar too. Because Stan's entire plan might not be about stopping Godolkin's work. It might be about stealing it. He's not trying to end Project Odessa. He's trying to control it. Think about it. Why else would he still be so calm when everything around him is falling apart? That silence, that patience, that sense that he's always 3 steps ahead, it all fits. He's watching Cypher, letting him build something that he plans to take for himself. And if Murray is the key to that, then she's the weapon both sides are fighting to control. She just doesn't realize it yet. Murray's powers are the wild card in all of this. If her abilities truly came from the same process that created Homelander, then she's the next step. The evolution that Vought has been trying to reach for years. She doesn't just manipulate blood. She manipulates life itself. We've seen glimpses of what she can do, but episode 7 might push her even further. Maybe she discovers a new level, something tied to emotion. Or maybe something triggered by fear or betrayal. And if Kate turns against her, that could be the emotional explosion that awakens it. Because Murray's strength isn't just physical. It's tied to how much she feels, how much she wants to protect the people around her. Take that away from her and she could unleash something even she can't control. But here's the thing about power, it always comes with consequences. The stronger Murray becomes, the more she risks losing herself. We've already seen how Homelander started as a product of Vought's system, broken, molded, and remade until he didn't even remember who he really was. That same path could be waiting for Murray if she doesn't control it. She'll become the very weapon she's trying to destroy. And that's what makes her story so tragic, because deep down, she doesn't want power. She wants freedom. She just doesn't realize that sometimes those two things can't exist together now. If there's one thing that's been building quietly in the background, it's the tension between the students and the system itself. The rebellion that's been brewing under the surface is about to burst. The culling, the lies, the experiments, it's too much. Episode 7 might be the moment when everything finally snaps. I think we'll see the students turning on the university, maybe even forming sides. Some might stand with Murray, fighting for truth and freedom, while others, especially those influenced by Cypher, might fight for control, for power, for survival. It's not just about good versus evil anymore. It's about what kind of person you become when you realize the system you trusted has been lying to you from the start, and while all this chaos brews, Annabeth's visions could become more intense. She's probably seeing flashes of what's coming, destruction, betrayal, maybe even death. She's been silent for too long, and I think episode 7 might be the moment she finally speaks up, warning them about what she's seen. But will anyone believe her? Probably not. Because that's how it always goes. People only start listening when it's too late. I wouldn't be surprised if her next vision shows the downfall of Godolkin itself. Maybe even the school burning. That would be the perfect setup for the finale. Let's not forget about Polarity either. He's been hanging on by a thread and his condition is getting worse. If Marie's powers are evolving, she might finally be able to help him, but the cost of doing that could push her even further into the kind of power she's afraid to use. There's something poetic about it, healing others while breaking yourself. That's been Marie's story since day one. She wants to fix the world, but every time she tries, she ends up bleeding for it. Episode 7 might make her realize that no one can save everyone, not even her. So, if we really look at everything together, Marie's evolution, Kate's potential betrayal, Cypher's manipulation, Stan's hidden agenda, Annabeth's warnings, it all points to one truth: the end of Godolkin as we know it. The school isn't just a place anymore. It's a ticking bomb. Every relationship, every secret, every hidden experiment is part of what's about to explode. And when it does, the aftermath won't just affect the students, it'll echo all the way to Vought Tower. Because what happens inside Godolkin isn't staying inside Godolkin anymore. The deeper we get into this story, the clearer it becomes that Godolkin University was never really a school, it was a lab, a front. A place built to study, test, and push soups until they either broke or became something unrecognizable. And now, in episode 7, it feels like that truth is finally about to come out. Everything that's been buried under years of lies, erased files, and missing students, it's all bubbling to the surface. And the worst part? The people who thought they were heroes are realizing they've been the experiments all along. Marie's starting to connect the dots. Every vision, every flashback, every time she's been pushed to the edge. It's all tied to one thing: Project Odessa never ended. It just evolved. The same people who made Homelander are the ones who made her. And the same patterns that created monsters back then are repeating now. The manipulation, the trauma, the control, it's all the same formula. She's beginning to understand that she's not an accident. She's a design. A weapon that was meant to either protect the system or destroy it. And in episode 7, we might finally see her decide which one she wants to be. But while Murray is waking up, Kate's falling deeper into Cypher's web. You can almost feel her slipping away from herself. The confusion, the guilt, the need to belong, it's all getting twisted into something dark. Cypher knows exactly what buttons to press. He's feeding her just enough truth to make her think he's the only one being honest with her. And that's what makes his manipulation so dangerous. It doesn't feel like control. It feels like comfort. He's showing her that Murray's power isn't just a gift, it's a threat. That if Murray keeps getting stronger, there won't be a place for anyone else, not even Kate. And in her fragile state, that thought could be the final push that makes her turn. It's wild. Because if you look closely, Cypher's strategy is almost perfect. He doesn't need to attack Murray head-on. He just needs to make her enemies out of her friends. Divide them, break their trust, and let them destroy each other from the inside. That's how you take down someone too powerful to face directly. You make them doubt themselves. And with Kate's emotions spiraling, Cypher's already halfway there. I think episode 7 could be the moment when Kate finally crosses that invisible line. Maybe it's a betrayal that no one sees coming, something that'll hit Murray like a punch to the gut. But what makes it worse is that it might not even be intentional. It might come from a place of confusion, pain, or fear. And once it happens, there's no going back. Then there's Stan Edgar, the man who always moves like he's untouchable. He's been letting everyone else make noise while he sits back and observes. But if we've learned anything about him, it's that silence doesn't mean absence. It means control. He's the kind of man who lets chaos do his work for him. And when everyone's too busy fighting each other, that's when he steps in and claims what's left. My guess, he's waiting for Cypher to fail. He's watching how far Cypher's control can go before it breaks. Once Cypher pushes too hard and the truth about Godolkin comes out, Stan will use that moment to swoop and clean up the mess, rewrite the story, and claim the narrative like he always does. Because in the world of Vought, power isn't just about strength. It's about who gets to tell the story afterward. But what if this time Stan miscalculates? What if Murray doesn't follow his plan? That's the part that could change everything. Murray's the first soup he can't fully control. She's unpredictable, emotional, and driven by something he doesn't understand: compassion. He's used to dealing with soups who crave fame, validation, and control. But Murray's different. She's not doing this for attention or revenge. She's doing it to fix something inside herself. And that makes her dangerous in a way Stan's not ready for. Because you can't manipulate someone who's already accepted they're broken. Meanwhile, the campus is falling apart. Students are vanishing. Professors are panicking. Security's tighter than ever, and the whispers about the culling are spreading like wildfire. Everyone's scared, but no one knows who to trust. And that fear is exactly what's going to push everything over the edge. Episode 7 feels like the breaking point, the moment when fear turns into violence. We could see students going rogue, turning on the elimination. It's about observation. Watching how Supes react under stress, how far they'll go to protect themselves, and how easily they'll betray each other when pushed to the edge. It's twisted, but it fits perfectly with Godolkin's legacy. It's never been about building heroes. It's about perfecting control. By the time episode 7 ends,